So students, as we have already finished retained portion, what PU board said. Now for NEET point of view, we have to prepare for entrance exam, medical entrance. So all the chapters you need. So only 4 chapters I have to teach, which is deleted. Some deleted chapters I have already taught you. I will just show you what we have learned and what we have to learn now. If you remember these 4 chapters, the living world I finished, biological classification we have already learnt, plant kingdom already we have learnt, animal kingdom already we have learnt. So these 4 chapters, complete chapter without leaving one word also we have learnt first 4 chapters. Then here morphology of flowering plants, full chapter we have learnt, anatomy of flowering plants also full chapter we have learnt. Then structural organization in animals, only cockroach we have to learn. Okay, so that means these 3 chapters also we have discussed, only one part of this chapter is remaining. Then structure and function, cell, the unit of life, full chapter is done, we have finished. Biomolecules, full chapter we have finished. Cell cycle and cell division also full chapter we have finished. Theory. So these chapters, that is chapter number 1 to 10 we have already finished. Then here in this plant physiology part, we have finished photosynthesis in higher plants, respiration in plants we have finished, plant growth and development, one part we have finished, that is only plant hormones, remaining part we have to learn. Okay, so here full chapter what we have to learn is transport in plants, that is chapter number 11. Then chapter 12, mineral nutrition. So these 2 chapters we have to learn here, 11 and 12. Then remaining 3 we have finished. Then here in this human physiology, only digestion and absorption we have to learn. Then locomotion and movement we have to learn. Remaining all the chapters we have already learnt in detail. So 4 chapters we have to learn completely, full chapters. So deleted chapters are 4 chapters which we have to learn. That is transport in plants, mineral nutrition, then here digestion and absorption, and locomotion and movement. Remaining chapters we have finished. Breathing and exchange of gases we have finished, body fluids we have finished, excretory products we have finished, neural control and coordination we finished, chemical coordination also we finished. So in human physiology, only digestion and locomotion, 2 chapters, and here 2 chapters, transport and minerals. So 4 chapters I have to teach. So let us start with the chapter 12, that is mineral nutrition. Okay, I brought this book just to show you which chapters we are left with. We are left with 4 chapters. That is, we have to learn today chapter 11, that is transport in plants, chapter 12 mineral nutrition, then digestion and absorption, chapter 3 which we have to learn, and 4th chapter what we have to learn is locomotion and movement. These are the 4 chapters which we have to learn completely. Then 1 or 2 chapters, that's only 2 chapters, one small part is remaining. So totally we have to learn 4 chapters in deleted. So we will start with chapter mineral nutrition now. Mineral nutrition, you know that this is chapter number 12 under plant physiology. You know that plants, without minerals plant cannot survive, isn't it? Plant requires minerals for their survival. And how plants get these minerals? Most of the minerals plant gets from soil, from the earth crust. But some elements which are required to plants are in gaseous form, like nitrogen is present in the atmosphere as gas, carbon, oxygen, okay, all these are present in the atmosphere as gas. So mineral nutrition means plant requires minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, molybdenum, zinc, boron, calcium, all these minerals are required to the plants. Okay, then carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, all these are also required for plants. What if these minerals are not there? If these minerals are not there, plant cannot survive. And surprising fact is what, you know, one single plant doesn't require all the minerals. Mineral requirement by the plant will differ from plant to plant. Like for example, wheat may require 4 to 5 minerals, rice may require 7 to 8 minerals. Okay, what wheat requires, rice may not require. So the requirement of minerals depends on what plant you are growing. Okay, so let us see one by one. You can see here they are showing potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, no, iron, calcium, manganese, okay, molybdenum, magnesium, carbon. All these are the minerals required for plants. See, they are showing plant here. Roots absorb all these minerals along with water, because all these minerals are like ions. They easily get dissolved in water, and when roots of the plants absorb along with water, minerals also it gets. Without minerals, plant cannot survive. So you can see here what they are showing. All the organisms require macromolecules, that is molecules which are larger in size, whose molecular weight is more than 1000 daltons. We call macromolecules. Macro means big. Macromolecules like carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Then water and minerals for the growth and development. Not only plants, human beings also. Animals also require minerals for their growth and development. Okay, and how we get this? We get minerals, human beings get minerals by eating plants. Okay, if you are not eating plants, if you are eating animals, then that animal will eat the plant, so that animal got minerals. By eating that animal, you got that mineral. So somehow from the earth crust, most of the minerals we get from the earth crust. You can see there, the plant is getting from the soil. But some are gaseous, which are available in the atmosphere, gases. So plant directly gets it. Next, if you see, very important, can we grow plants without soil? I mean, growing plants without soil, not growing plants in the soil. Can we grow plants in the bucket without soil? Huh? Remember, don't think about growing plants in a pot. In a pot also you put soil. Any method is there that we can grow plants without soil. First you should think why plant requires soil. Plant requires soil for three things. First one is support. Okay, support, because plant should stand straight, that's why it needs a support. For that it needs soil. And second, plant require minerals, and minerals plant gets from the soil. Then plant requires water. That water also plant absorbs from the soil. For these three reasons plant require soil. What if plant gets these three things, that is water, minerals and support, by other way other than soil? Then soil is not required, isn't it? So what is that method of growing plants without soil? That is called hydroponics. So it was first time invented by scientists. First time it was demonstrated by scientist called Julius von Sachs. You can see his name there, Julius von Sachs. That is his name. Okay, he is from Germany. In 1860 he demonstrated how to grow plants without soil. You can see what he did there. He has done this setup. You can see that setup there. He has taken a bucket. Okay, then what he did, in that he has fixed the plant with the help of a rubber cork, or he has put a cover there on the top of the tray. Then he'll make one hole in the center. Then in that hole he'll pass the plant, stem of the plant. Then he'll put cotton around it and he'll fix it. So first requirement of plant is fulfilled, that is, it needs support. For that it required soil. Now soil is not required because he gave support there. Then plant requires soil for minerals. What he did here, he has taken water in this jar, and with water he has added minerals, because minerals can easily dissolve in water. So artificially, you see here with this method, funnel for adding water and nutrients. So by using funnel he added water and minerals he dissolved. So second requirement of plant also is fulfilled. Now it doesn't require soil. And third thing is oxygen is required. Oxygen is required. Aeration. So that he has passed a tube here, you can see this is called aerating tube. That is for supplying oxygen. You know what happens? Plants get oxygen. Okay, even soil also requires oxygen. Only on the upper surface of the soil oxygen will be there. Atmospheric oxygen diffuses in the soil up to one level, some centimeters only. Then for giving oxygen to the soil, he has added aerating tube. So with this tube he will supply oxygen. You know, for growing plants, soil should be loose. No, water should easily percolate, means it should be easily diffusible. Okay, so he gave all that method. Now plant is getting support, plant is getting oxygen, soil is getting oxygen. No, soil is not required here. Directly to this water he has added air, oxygen. Then minerals and water both he is adding through funnel. So plant gets everything, but soil is not used here. So this method of growing plants without soil is called hydroponics. You can see the heading there, hydroponics. So first time hydroponics was done by scientist Julius von Sachs. Okay, you can see how he does that. You can see this picture. Now in a tray, now in a bucket, he has made a holes there. Now here plant number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants you can put. Then with a pump, aeration pump, he has passed air. Then in this he has taken a water and he has mixed minerals in that water, so that then he, plant gets support also with this jar. That's why plant doesn't require soil at all. So without soil he started growing plants. That method is called hydroponics. In simple terms, hydroponics means process of growing plants without soil. Okay, next you see what exactly he does. You can see that is a plant there. He has taken a long cylindrical tube, and he made a holes in that tube. Okay, like you consider this is a long tube and he will make holes, and he will leave some distance between two holes. In those holes he will fix the plant. Okay, you can see there, this is a long tube, yellow color tube, what do you see? That's a long tube, and he has made a hole, and in each hole he has fixed a plant there. Okay, then in this tray he has taken a nutrient solution. Nutrient solution means water containing minerals, water mixed with minerals. Then he has used a pump here. With that pump, what he does, he will pump that nutrient solution through this, and it goes and passes through this tube. So when water passes through the tube, plant will take the minerals. Then extra water what is there, it will pass through that and it will come back to the same tub. Again it goes continuously, minerals will get circulated here. So plants will get easily minerals. You can see commercially how they do it. You can see this commercially how they do it. You can see this is one tube, this is second tube, third tube, fourth tube, fifth tube, sixth tube. In every tube you can see these holes, you can see these holes there. Now two things are fulfilled. One is, in a small area you can grow many plants, because you consider in one room normally, or in one room area, how many plants you can grow normally? 10 by 10 feet. You can grow 7-8 plants, because in between two plants you should leave a gap, no? So 10 plants you can grow. Here in the same area you can grow 300-400 plants also, because you will make a tube. Okay, from that distance to this distance you will make tube, and you will leave some distance between the plants, then like half feet distance between two plants, like that you will make holes. Okay, so in one line, in one row you have fixed 10 plants. Then next one more row you can make, like how in the classroom tables are arranged one after the other, like that you can fix a tube. Okay, then like that you can make 10 rows. In each row in each row minimum 10 plants, so 10 into 10, 100 plants. Then over the tube one more line you can make like this, again 10 rows you can make one above the other. Okay, so 100 plus 100. Then one more line you can make like a shelf, shelf, like how in refrigerator food is arranged like layer by layer, like that. So 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100, like that, 3-4 rows. So 300 to 400 minimum plants in one just 10 feet room you can make. Okay, so within a less area you can grow more number of plants, and soil is not required here. So you can see hydroponics was used to identify essential elements required for plants and their deficiency symptoms. Why he did this? Because he wanted to know what all minerals are required for plants for their normal growth and development. Because every plant doesn't require all the minerals. Every plant doesn't require all the minerals. I'll give you an example. Magnesium is not required for all the plants. Okay, it's like that. Zinc is not required for all the plants. Some requirement is there for every plant, that is different for different plants, and some minerals are common for all the plants. He just wanted to know which all minerals are required for plants for their normal growth and development. That's why he did hydroponics. Then if that minerals are not given to the plant, then what happens to the plant? Plants will get some disorders, that is some deficiency disorders, like some symptoms it shows. Plant doesn't grow. Growth and development of the plant is affected. He just wanted to know how plant is affected. Like for example, one plant requires magnesium, but we don't give magnesium. Then what happens? Plant doesn't grow. What happens? What symptoms it shows that it has a magnesium deficiency? So all that he can study by using hydroponics. That's why he has done hydroponics. Okay. So what he did in this plant, roots were immersed in a nutrient solution and element was added or removed given a varied concentration. Meaning he will fix a root of that plant in a nutrient solution. Then he will add some minerals in varied concentration. Means in one plant he will add less mineral, in one plant he will add more mineral. Which plant grows properly he will study. Then he will come to know in what quantity that minerals are required to that plant, that he can study in detail. Okay. Then hydroponics is used for commercial production of vegetables, especially like terrace garden you can do. In a shorter area you can grow more number of plants. Means you have less area but you can have more yield. ಅಂದರೆ ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ತರಕಾರಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೋದು. Okay, in very small area you can grow more number of vegetables. Okay, that is the idea. Even on your terrace also you can make hydroponics. Okay, and you can grow there. Then like tomato, seedless cucumber, lettuce, all these you can grow on the by using hydroponics. You can see here he is growing in very small area here, very small area, not even 10 by 10, not even 10 by 10. He has used maybe 5 into 8 feet. Okay, only in that much area he is growing. You can see so many plants he is growing, like more than 100 plants he is growing there. Okay, so that is one. Like you can see here how the vegetable grows. Okay, in a smaller area they can grow more number of plants. Then what are the essential mineral elements required to the plant? See, he is showing in hand, he is holding soil and plant. This plant requires which minerals in the soil? You know that in chemistry, in inorganic chemistry, where you learn elements in the periodic table. In the periodic table 118 elements are there. Do you think all the minerals are required to the plants for growth? All the minerals are not required. Then which all minerals are required? Very important is how many elements are very much required for normal growth and development of plants. Okay, that we should see. Now you see essential mineral nutrients. For example, more than 60 elements are found in different plants. If you study plants, if you take cross section of the plant and see more than 60 elements of periodic table you will get in the plant. That doesn't mean that all the plants require these 60 minerals. Okay, some plant species accumulate selenium, gold, etc. You know where we get gold ores adiru antivalla now. We get metals from that ores, no, which is available in the earth crust like a stone. We get gold, selenium and all from the earth crust. Where gold is there, you know where it is. Where we get a gold ore in Karnataka, Kolar gold field, no, KGF. So there, when some plants grow there, the plants inside the plant also some little quantity of gold will be there. That doesn't mean that every plant requires gold. What plants we grow here in our area, do you think it requires gold? And gold is not compulsory. It will get accumulated. That doesn't mean that it is essential, very much required to the plant. No. So some plants growing near nuclear test sites take up radioactive strontium. See, where nuclear material, radioactive waste they throw, like what they make, electricity they produce from uranium, no, that is strontium, uranium. All these are radioactive elements. You know, in periodic table, atomic number 81 to 92 are radioactive. You know why radioactivity is caused? Already I told you in previous classes. It's because of unstable nucleus. Number of protons and neutrons are unequal. Then it releases alpha, beta, gamma radiations. That is called radioactive radiations. Okay, they are also called Becquerel rays because radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel. You will learn in physics. Anyway. So the plants which grow in the area where scientists throw radioactive waste, the plant will also contains radioactive material. That doesn't mean that every plant requires radioactive material. Okay. So there are techniques to detect minerals even at low concentration, that is 10 raised to minus 8 grams per ml. There are methods in chemistry, in biology, to identify in very less quantity of minerals, if they are present in the plant also, we can detect, we can identify by using chemical tests. Okay, by using a test we are able to identify very less quantity of minerals present in the plant also. That is 10 raised to minus 8 grams. That is very, very less, negligible quantity of minerals. If it is present in the plant also, we can identify. So for 1 ml 10 raised to minus 8 grams, very, very less, negligible quantity of minerals, percentage also, quantity also we can detect. Okay, now tell me, what are the essential mineral elements? Essential mineral elements you can see here. These are the essential mineral elements required, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, then sulfur, calcium, boron, chlorine, manganese, iron, nickel, copper, zinc, molybdenum, and hydrogen, carbon, oxygen. So these are elements required for normal plant growth and development. Means ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಿನರಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. Now, what is the criteria for essentiality of minerals? Means on what basis we say that particular mineral is required to the plant. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟಿಗೆ ಅದೇ ಮಿನರಲ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ಆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್? ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ that means if plant requires that mineral, that means plant requires that mineral for its growth and development. That means very important part it plays in plant's life. That is how mineral is required. Let us see what is the criteria for essentiality of an element or mineral. Number 1, Element must be needed for normal growth and reproduction. Means, suppose rice requires calcium. Why it requires calcium? Because that plays very important role in normal growth of that plant and also reproduction of the plant. That means if that particular mineral is not given to the plant, then plant growth doesn't happen, no reproduction. Okay, so element must be needed for normal growth and reproduction. In absence of the element, the plants do not complete their life cycle or set seeds. Means if that mineral is not given, then plant doesn't complete its life cycle. It means it doesn't produce flowers, it doesn't produce fruits, then no seeds will be produced. If no seeds, then next plant cannot be produced, because to produce next plant, seeds are required. So that mineral plays very important role. Okay. So first point, criteria for essentiality of element or mineral is the element must be needed for normal growth and reproduction of the plant, otherwise growth reproduction doesn't happen. Then the element is required for completing the life cycle and to set the seeds, means to produce the seeds. And second, requirement of an element must be specific. Means if plant requires magnesium, magnesium only should be given. Like in place of magnesium you cannot give calcium. Okay, means mineral requirement is very specific. Like you are asking, suppose your requirement is chocolate ice cream. Okay, but shopkeeper is saying I will give you vanilla ice cream in place of chocolate, but your requirement is very specific. The problem is you don't eat vanilla ice cream at all. You don't eat vanilla ice cream, so your requirement is you want only chocolate ice cream. So in place of chocolate ice cream he cannot give vanilla. Okay, in ice creams at least you can replace, but with respect to minerals, suppose one plant requires zinc. In place of zinc, if zinc is not there, if we give calcium, whether it is okay? It is not okay, because the requirement of mineral is very specific, and deficiency of one mineral cannot be met by supplying other mineral. Means one mineral cannot take a place of other mineral. Okay. Deficiency of an element cannot be met by another element. Means if magnesium is not there, you cannot give other mineral in place of that. You have to give magnesium only, because plant requires only magnesium, not zinc or calcium. Okay. Then third criteria is it must be directly involved in plant metabolism. Means why plant requires that particular mineral only? Why it is very particular, very specific? Because without that mineral, metabolism of the plant doesn't happen. Metabolism is all the processes in the plant, like photosynthesis, respiration, these are together we call metabolism. If that mineral is not there, then no metabolism. Without metabolism, plant doesn't survive. So these are the three criteria. Criteria number one, the element must be directly involved in normal growth and reproduction. Then absence of an element, the plants do not complete their life cycle and set seeds. Means if that element is not there, plant cannot grow and plant cannot complete life cycle, then plant cannot produce seeds. And second, requirement of an element or mineral is very specific. So deficiency of one mineral cannot be met by supplying another mineral. Means if that particular mineral is not there, in place of that you cannot give other mineral. That mineral only you have to give. Then mineral must be required, or element must be required for completing the metabolism of the plant. Otherwise no metabolism. So these are the three criteria for essentiality of minerals. The meaning of the heading criteria for essentiality of mineral is on what basis or for what reason that mineral is required to the plant. Okay, for these three reasons. First is, if that mineral is not there, no growth, no reproduction, no life cycle completion, no seeds. Then the one mineral is not there, in place of that mineral you cannot give other minerals. That particular mineral only you have to give. Then The mineral is directly involved in the metabolism, so it is very much required, otherwise plant will die. It doesn't survive. If that particular mineral is not given, like for example, if plant requires magnesium, magnesium only you have to give. If that magnesium is not given, in place of that zinc is given, plant will die. Okay, so that is how it plays very important role in plants. Okay, then how many elements are essential, very much required for growth and development of plants? 17 elements. You can see here, only 17 elements are absolutely essential for plant growth and metabolism. Means essential minerals, means without these minerals plant will not survive. So 17 essential elements are required for the plants. Which are those 17? We will see. Again, it is classified into two types. Okay, like micronutrients, macronutrients, that we will see in next class. Okay, so keep watching my classes. Thank you.